Let's jump right in. We're unpacking a fundamental reality of modern business in today's explainer. Anywhere from 65 to 85% of the cost of running a business goes straight into salaries and wages. So, aside from the actual cost of goods sold, your people are your biggest investment by a mile. But here's the catch. According to legendary management expert Brian Tracy, most organizations are completely failing to get a true return on that massive investment. So today, we're diving deep into Tracy's book, Full Engagement, to figure out exactly how we can transform an average workforce into a highly motivated, peak-performing team.
Now here's the staggering part. Many employees out there are essentially working at half speed. You know the type, doing just enough to not get fired, right? Well, that leaves a massive 50% of your payroll investment completely unused, just sitting dormant on the table. To put that into perspective, imagine taking half your payroll budget and just locking it in a vault where you can't touch it. As a leader or manager, your ultimate test is figuring out how to pick that lock, tap into that dormant potential, and channel all that human energy into massive productivity.
To get us there, we're going to break down Brian Tracy's top strategies. We'll cover the secret to engagement, the psychology of peak performance, the art of listening, fostering participative management, and finally, planning for ultimate results. All right, Section 1, the secret to engagement.
Dealing with complex human beings can honestly feel like trying to solve a giant puzzle. Everyone has different hopes, fears, and dreams. But Tracy argues it's actually way simpler than we make it out to be. He calls it his unified field theory of management. Think about it. Physicists spent decades searching for a single equation to explain the universe, like Einstein's E equals mc squared. Well, in the management world, Tracy's ultimate formula is simply this: make them feel happy. That is literally the ultimate key to getting loyal, committed people to willingly give you their highest physical, emotional, and mental energies. It all stems from their baseline level of happiness at work.
And keeping your team happy, right from the day they're hired until the day they retire, really boils down to one familiar concept: golden rule management. Treat your staff exactly as you would want to be treated if you were sitting in their chairs. Sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But honestly, the problem isn't that managers know what to do, it's that they get distracted, they forget, or they start justifying bad habits. We have to be incredibly intentional about creating that happiness.
Moving on to Section 2, the psychology of peak performance.
If we want to intentionally create happiness, we have to look at what Tracy calls the master program of success. Everyone has a self-concept that predicts how they'll perform. It's built on a feedback loop between two things: self-efficacy and self-esteem. Self-efficacy is that feeling of, hey, I'm competent and capable of doing my job. Self-esteem is simply how much you genuinely like yourself, and they feed right into each other. The more you learn and improve at your job, the higher your self-efficacy gets. And as you get better at your job, you actually like yourself more, which drives up your self-esteem. As a manager, your number one job is to constantly fuel this loop. You want your team to feel valuable, worthy, and like they are continually growing. Which brings us right to Section 3, the art of listening.
To build that self-esteem we were just talking about, managers often need a major reality check about how they communicate. Tracy shares this amazing story about his own great awakening as a young manager. He used to treat staff meetings like his own personal stage, just talking endlessly about his fascinating ideas. And his staff, they just sit there, give one-word answers, and quietly shuffle out. It eventually hit him like a ton of bricks. He was totally abusing his power, wasting everyone's time and completely crushing their effectiveness. He knew he had to do a complete 180.
So instead of dominating the room, he adopted a few physical steps for active listening. First, put everything aside. No phones, no laptops, no distractions. Second, physically lean forward to show you're actually interested. Third, nod and smile to encourage them to keep talking. And fourth, actually take notes and ask questions so they expand on their thoughts. When Tracy started doing this, it was like magic. It transformed his quiet staff into this highly energized group of people who literally couldn't wait to share their ideas.
Next up, Section 4, fostering participative management.
Beyond just feeling heard, employees need to feel like they are inside the tent, part of the inner circle. Tracy calls this participative management. We've all been in that situation where a phone is ringing off the hook in the office and nobody answers it because everyone assumes it's someone else's job, right? To fix that kind of confusion, Tracy recommends a brilliantly simple job description exercise. Have every single person on your team write out their primary responsibilities on the top half of a page and their secondary duties on the bottom. Then, gather everyone together and have them swap these pages with each other.
The real magic happens when you review these together openly. You will be absolutely amazed at the lack of clarity this uncovers. Seriously, you'll have people who think their primary job is actually someone else's duty, or they'll realize a secondary task is actually the entire reason they are on the payroll. This simple exercise resolves contradictions and clarifies priorities. Once everyone knows exactly what their teammates are trying to accomplish, they naturally start stepping in to help. It's a total game changer for workplace cooperation.
And finally, Section 5, Planning for Ultimate Results.
Okay, so we've talked about happiness, self-esteem, and cooperation. But let's be real. As a leader, making people feel good is really just a means to an end. It doesn't matter how happy people are if the business results don't follow. This brings us to the rule of 3. Tracy says if you write down everything you do in a week, you'll find that just 3 core results make the greatest actual contribution to your business. So look at your list and ask yourself, if I can only achieve one thing on this list excellently, which one makes the biggest impact? Circle it. Do it again for the second and again for the third. Everything else, it's secondary.
Once you lock in those top 3 things, the absolute secret to peak performance is working single-mindedly on your most important task until it is 100% complete. When you do this, something pretty incredible happens biologically. Your brain actually rewards you by releasing endorphins. You get this hit of elation, a rush of energy, and you literally become more creative. Focusing like a laser on high-value tasks doesn't just drive company revenue. It fast-tracks your career and makes you feel pretty fantastic about yourself along the way.
So, to wrap things up, I want to leave you with this provocative question from Brian Tracy to chew on today. Ask yourself right now, what one thing, if we did it in an excellent fashion, would have the absolute greatest positive impact on our business? Seriously, grab a pen, write your answer down, and make a plan around it. Start tackling it every single day. Apply that golden rule management. Actively listen to your people and start unlocking that massive, untapped 50% of human potential today.